history coaching offensive line, and you're coaching tight ends. How does the offensive line experience help kind of enhance what you're hoping to bring to the tight end?
Well, it starts with most tight ends you recruit or have the athletic ability. It's more getting them into the run game stand. It starts with really mirrors the O-line, so that background does assist in establishing that and getting them going in the run game.
What about this Missouri unit has impressed your group of guys, or you with your group of guys in the first few weeks?
Just the depth, from top to bottom with the older guys, with Jordan and Brett, who've been here for a long time, put a lot of time in. Then you got Jude and Gavin Hoffman, who come in a little bit kind of like that mixed tier. Then you got Isaac Jensen and Adam kind of carried in the back end. So I like the kind of how the room is kind of stacked from top to bottom, and good young talent, and those guys are smart and doing a really good job.
What stood out to you? You mentioned Jude. What has stood out to you about him so far?
Well, just his number one, his athletic ability, change direction, and also his toughness. Man, he's been pretty much really consistent on the blocking on the perimeter, run game. His intelligence, be able to pick it up with a new system, just kind of intertwined with a little bit of the head coaches, but the leadership, and also he's smart. He's majored in business in Missouri, which is pretty tough. So I've been really impressed with that young man.
When you've got
first cross paths with Coach Green?
Well, this is our first time working together. So, of course, in the business, it's a tight business, so we had met before. It's been time, but this is my first time really crossing paths with him.
when you've got Brett and Jordan who have been in the main roles for a couple of years now, how helpful are they in bringing along the younger guys?
Man, they're doing a wonderful job. I tell you what, just the time spent off the field. I think they're doing a great job of spending time, eating together, living together, taking trips together, meeting each other's family. I thought they've done a good job of, establishing the brotherhood, not only just with the team, but inside of the room as well.
With Gavin and Jude specifically, what do you think the next steps in their development are?
Yeah, well, Gavin is a supreme athlete, so he's a tall, he can, change direction, top of the routes, things like that. It's more growing him in the box, blocking ends, coming across the ball, developing that toughness, body building things. That's really what he's taking the next step in. And Jude, same thing now. Jude is not going to grow as tall as Gavin, but getting the thickness. And I tell you what, man, when his stature doesn't define, how well he mixes it up in there, and I've been proud to see that.
How have you been navigating Brett's injury and recovery process?
Well, he's doing fine. It's more just protection of him, to make sure he can build up his upper body strength with the history with the shoulder. But he's been pretty much in practice. We just keeping him out of harm's way. But his development of learning it, staying locked in, taking as many reps as he can without contact, he's doing a phenomenal job.
How have those conversations been with Brett for potential mental block he may be having with the injury?
Yeah, it's not his first rodeo. That's the good thing about it is he knew what to expect. He knew what the rehab was going to be, and I think mentally he's handled it really well. I've been proud of just watching him take from what he can't do and putting it in what he can do. And checking with the trainers how his rehab going, meeting extra, coming out on his own. He still catch the ball, he's still running routes. He's pretty much in practice. We're just keeping him out of contact.
I know he's been around a while, Brett, but just as far as prospect-wise and potential, what do you see there for him? What's out there for him?
You talking about for Brett?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think number one is just longevity. He's felt like he's always had to play through so much pain throughout seasons. So number one, learning how to prehab himself and take care of his body to be able to withstand the season. Also, he wants to be able to run out the catch, so his body weight to body mass, talking about how lean he is, that can add that extra, tenth of a second in his 40 and just kind of being more yards after catch, yards after contact, and just being as physically as he can in the run game without using his shoulders. I think he's been trying to build upon those things.
When you're talking building a tight end's body, the mixture of needing to be strong enough as a blocker, but like you're talking about with Brett, trying to be quicker, where is that just a different weight, side to side for each guy, or how do you go about that?
It's individually to the player. Some guys can be 270 pounds like Jordan, who could be a bigger guy that can still move like he does. And some guys got to kind of take it off him. It's really depending on the makeup of the individual. But Brett is a guy, I think that he plays a little bit better leaner because he gets a little bit more twitch, but he also got to get his body mass and strength where his muscle can hold and withstand the game for pretty much the whole season.
What's kind of your initial impression of Jordan, and where has he maybe put kind of emphasis on improvement this time?
He's very intentional in his work. You watch guys who can take. Some guys need every rep they can take. He's the guy that can take a mental rep without taking a rep and still get the value of it. Like he can stand behind when the twos or threes or whatever's going and still take a mental rep where he's mimicking, kind of going through his mind. He's very intentional with his work. He's intentional with his notes. I've really been proud of just how focused and intent he is in being a perfectionist. I like coaching those guys where you got to it's okay to make a mistake, kind of let it loose, because he plays not to make a mistake sometimes. but I think him letting it loose and I don't want to take away from who he is as intentional as he is.
Okay.
All
Thanks,
good. Thank
Coach.
y'all.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.